Now, from Western North Carolina's news leader, this is News 13 at 11.
We can't stay home forever.
Where we go from here. The 3 requirements to get North Carolina back to normal. Loans for small businesses are here to help, but some are saying the terms aren't ideal. Help for those on the front lines. Emergency responders face a new challenge as protective equipment becomes scarce. Realtors talk about what business is like during an outbreak, what you need to know if you're trying to buy or sell. Tonight, millions of people in North Carolina are asking when. When does life return to normal? Today, Governor Roy Cooper addressed that and his requirements for ending stay-home orders.
That in order to ease restrictions, we need to make progress in 3 areas: testing, tracing, and trends.
Governor Cooper says the testing aspect involves making sure lab, supplies, and tests are all widely available. The plan also involves having a bigger team of people to track points of contact when someone is infected. He also says the number of sick people and fatalities from the outbreak must decrease, and the PPE availability must increase before the state reopens. But even then, Cooper warned that residents should expect a new normal.
A restaurant you may go into may have tables that are only partially full. The only sporting events or concerts that you may be able to watch for a while will have no in-person crowds.
President Trump claims the country is past its peak for coronavirus infections, and he hinted that there could be significant relaxing of the rules in some areas of the country. Scott Thuman has been monitoring the day's developments from Washington and joins us with more.
The president from the Rose Garden Wednesday delivering news he's been anxious to report.
The data suggests that nationwide we have passed the peak on new cases.
And on Thursday, he says he'll announce new guidelines for various states. He's hearing and feeling the pressure. In Michigan today, many waving Trump flags protested some of the strictest stay-at-home orders in the country, demanding they be scaled back despite a higher than average infection rate, a desire for normalcy shared by the president.
We want to have our sports leagues open. You want to watch sports. It's important. We miss sports. We miss everything.
Yet LA's mayor suggesting large events may not be back until 2021. Dramatically different than last month when Trump set his aspirational goal of reopening on Easter Sunday, which then shifted to May 1st. Now some states, he says, could be ready before that, though critics contend it'd be unsafe to do so without more widespread testing.
Any decision to open up would be one that should be science-based and healthcare-based and what it means. And that's why it's so important to come back to those 3 big words: testing, testing, testing.
But the president apparently encouraged after conversations with a wide range of industry leaders about rebooting the country soon.
The level of IQ on some of those calls was about the highest you've ever seen on a phone call. They gave us a lot of great ideas. We spoke to a lot of very, very smart people.
So we'll stand by for that announcement tomorrow afternoon when the president says he'll speak with governors and then reveal some new guidelines in what he claims will be a very big day. In Washington, I'm Scott Thuman.
The federal government's approaching its lending limit on its Paycheck Protection Program for small businesses. As Congress negotiates so small businesses can say that some of the stipulations of those loans are just too hard to handle. News 13's Caitlin Penner spoke with a small business operator and financial experts about the loans that are available right now. And Caitlin, they say that these lenders should understand the struggles that they're facing.
Right. The small business owner that I spoke with says that as the coronavirus pandemic lasts longer, loan conditions should take that into account.
$349 billion.
Financial experts at Mountain BizWorks say so many small businesses have used federal loan money in recent weeks. Officials are trying to figure out what to do next.
We see that the money's going fast. We know we should try and get more money into it. Obviously, there's some question as to what's the right amount. Is it, just money for the businesses?
There are two main federal loans. The more popular Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP. It's loan money that could be forgiven if a business hires back the entire staff within 8 weeks. The other is the EIDL, or Economic Injury Disaster Loan. Once people apply for this one, they can also apply for a $10,000 advance to get before the loan is processed. Both the EIDL and PPP come with 6 to 12 month deferment options.
I know it's, processing. On Tuesday, which was yesterday, I got my loan offer.
The owner of Lulu's Consignment in Fletcher says her EIDL loan was relatively easy to get. She says with other options like PPP, it's not as realistic because businesses don't know if they can hire their whole staff back, especially in her case since she's now all online.
All different parts of the country are in different phases of where they can be open or not, so it's really hard to gauge if you're going to be busy enough to need 75% of your employees, which is kind of scary.
Mountain BizWorks says small businesses also have access to the North Carolina Rapid Recovery Loan Fund, as well as the One Buncombe Fund for those who live in the county. Bridge loans that would give businesses more immediate money.
Get money for the short term to keep your business open, with the idea that hopefully you would pay that off with the federal funds when you got these other loans that might be available.
Mountain BizWorks has a whole list of local, state, and federal options available to small businesses right now. For a link to that, you can head to our website, WLOS.com. Live in Asheville, Caitlin Penter, News 13.
News 13 wants to help local businesses reach their customers, and that's why we've created the Facebook page, WNC Open for Business. Any business can go on and post to let their customers know that they're open, what services they're providing, and anything else they'd want them to know. You can just search for WNC Open for Business on Facebook. Tonight, we also have an update on the number of deaths and confirmed cases of coronavirus. Remember that we also have these posted at WLOS.com. Henderson County still stands with the highest numbers of cases and now has 8 confirmed deaths, 1 higher than yesterday. Rutherford County is also one of the highest with 47 cases and 2 deaths. Those numbers have the community calling for more transparency about the cases. And tonight, the brother of a Rutherford County man who died from COVID-19 confirms his brother was a member of the controversial Church Word of Faith. News 13 confirmed Lauren Martinez of Spindale, who passed away from COVID-19, was a Word of Faith member. His brother Lance Martinez said that he doesn't think the church had any responsibility. As positive cases continue to climb, rumors have continued across the county.
Here in the community, there's been talk the Word of Faith is involved in the majority of cases.
We're worried that people in the community may spread this.
On its website, Word of Faith says it has been 100% compliant with the public health guidelines from the governor's office, and any suggestion to the contrary is reckless and defaming. The Rutherford County Sheriff confirmed there was a complaint about the church violating mass gathering orders on Easter Sunday. Deputies checked it out and found just a handful of cars parked at the church and said it was false. Word of Faith's attorney says church leader Jane Whalen and her husband are just fine, debunking another rumor that the two were hospitalized with COVID-19. Another challenge. First responders and firefighters worry as protective equipment becomes more scarce nationwide. Stuck at home with the kids? You're not alone. One family shares how they found ways to keep the kids busy in a creative and constructive way. And we've had some cold nights here lately, and there could be some more on the way. Chief Meteorologist Jason Boyer will have more on that and the weekend outlet coming up for you a little bit later in the weather. First responders across the country rely on protective gear to keep them and the communities they serve safe. News 13's Taylor Young is live in Asheville tonight, and Taylor, a shortage of protection gear for these folks could put them at risk.
Yeah, Frank, the head of the Asheville Firefighters Association and captain here at the department says they have enough gear right now to safely serve the community. But the fear is that if there's a major spike in COVID cases, they'll run out. First responders across the nation are on the front lines of the coronavirus pandemic.
Trying to keep everybody safe. It's totally different than anything that we've encountered before.
Scott Mullins is the president of the Professional Firefighters and Paramedics of North Carolina and a captain at the Asheville Fire Department. In recent weeks, he says the department has changed the way it responds to emergency calls.
We're really relying on callers to explain to the dispatchers all of their symptoms.
Firefighters are required to wear protective gear or PPE like masks, gloves, and eye protection to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Mullen says departments across the state have adequate gear, but not for long.
We were told, we have a million masks coming, and then they never came. And then it was, we have 100,000 masks coming. Well, they never showed up.
Local departments depend on the state's emergency management and FEMA to provide backup equipment.
And unfortunately, both systems are falling down, and neither one is providing with the quickness and with the certainty that we need them to keep firefighters, paramedics, and EMTs safe.
Doug Stern is a spokesperson for the International Association of Firefighters. He says right now suppliers are giving 50% of their materials to hotspots. The other 50% is going to their regular customers.
They're not dedicating 100% of the protective gear that they could be to protecting the people that are making all of these COVID responses.
Mullen says if there were to be a spike in cases in the mountains, first responders would be at risk.
If we do, there's going to be some serious concerns over our protection.
And recently, 15 new recruits joined the Asheville Fire Department to prevent a potential shortage due to COVID-19. Reporting live in Asheville, Taylor Young, News 13.
A cold day in the mountains for many today, and we could see more chilly weather overnight. Chief Meteorologist Jason Boyer joining us right now. And Jason, what can we expect when we wake up in the morning?
Ooh, I think we can expect some extra layers if you are certainly an early riser. Temperature-wise, it's going to get down into the 20s and 30s later on tonight. We'll show you the colder areas coming up in just a bit. All right, let's take a look at the numbers for April. And today we recorded only the 4th below average high temperature of the month at 56 degrees. Not bad, though, in the sunshine without that wind blowing at times. We've seen more of our days above average, obviously, this month. But we're headed for the colder side of things a few nights in a row. I'll show you which night is colder tonight or tomorrow, and weekend changes ahead. Does it involve rain? Yes. When, though? That's the question. I'll show you.
From the I-Team Coronavirus Help Desk, fewer drivers because of stay-home orders give highway crews a chance to work with less interference. One person asks, do essential workers, including road maintenance crews, while working, need to social distance themselves? According to the DOT, the answer is yes. News 13 found crews repaving Monte Vista near Oak Hill Road. A manager reminded crews to spread out. The NCDOT says local officials have reminded this contractor of their obligation to abide by the Joint Workforce Safety Plan for COVID-19, which includes a commitment to abide by CDC guidelines to the fullest extent possible. Safety plans include minimizing on-site personnel. And many businesses are struggling now to keep afloat, but others are thriving. That includes the Thread Exchange in Weaverville. As the name suggests, they supply thread, which is in high demand right now, mainly to make masks and other PPE. The CEO says that they're frequently overnighting and shipping orders next day air to customers who need them as soon as possible. And if you have kids, there's a good chance that you're running out of ideas to keep them occupied right now. Tonight, Lisa Fletcher has some unique things to do with your children that are engaging, meaningful, and fun.
Since school's been closed, 10-year-old Grace and 7-year-old Theo have been anything but bored. They toured a Florida marine sanctuary, organized a family litter patrol, planted an indoor garden, and made some really cool and useful stuff, like turning old T-shirts into shopping bags.
If you make your own reusable bag, then you don't have to use as much of the plastics. So you fold it, you cut off the sleeves, and then you inside out it.
Inside out it is a technical term. Theo, what are you going to use your bag for?
To carry around toys.
Their stepmom is Megan Severson, state director for Wisconsin Environment. So naturally, her list has good for the earth components.
I was looking for ways that I could help my family connect more with nature and think about, kind of positive things right now.
Whether it's family challenges to reduce waste, creating a nature self-portrait, or learning how to get lawmakers to listen, some big ideas were turned into bite-sized projects with a sense of accomplishment. Grace drew a picture of her favorite animal, destined for far more than the fridge.
And I'm going to send it to Senator Baldwin because there's a lot of trash that we're producing that goes into the oceans and kills turtles and other fish. I think that would be good.
Theo and his dad got a local secondhand shop to donate some old bikes to them.
We're fixing bikes for the kids who don't have bikes.
How does it make you feel, fixing up bikes for other kids?
Happy.
Why?
So that other kids can have fun.
Skywatch Weather, sponsored by Ingalls.
Well, a cool day today, but not terribly cold unless you were caught in the wind this morning. That was a chilly start, no doubt. We're headed for colder numbers tonight. Take a look at our Ingalls Skycam network. We're out over Bowcatcher Mountain in the Asheville area, and what a gorgeous sunset it was earlier today with the clear skies. We saw a real beauty. Temperature now at 43 degrees downtown, and we're headed for the 30s overnight into the morning. It looks like our lower 30s are headed into the mountains later on tonight. Maybe the coldest night of April thus far in Asheville. So far, 33 has been the coldest low temperature of the month. High pressure is in control. That means it's all about sunshine again tomorrow. And a nice change, at least we're going to warm it up a bit more over today's highs. We only managed highs in the 50s today. Looks like in the yard forecast tomorrow puts us in the lower 60s by late afternoon, so enjoy that. It will be dry, so no burning. I know we had a lot of rain Sunday to Monday, but it only takes a few days this time of the year with really dry air and some wind to dry things out again. All right, here comes our next round of rain, though. It is towards the weekend. Here's Saturday morning. We have some showers moving in, and then they will move out. So the entire day will not be a washout on Saturday. And then it comes to Sunday, and we'll bring in the clouds again, and here comes your rain one more time. It looks like some of that rain is going to be heavier and steadier in the late evening hours Sunday, and then into early Monday it could linger. So we're going to watch for some bigger changes by then. All right, so how much rain could add up over the next 5 days? A solid amount, maybe an inch or more in most cases around the mountains and upstate. And that leads us to the end of the month, which is likely to be wetter than average in all those green areas, including us here in the mountains. All right, lows tonight, 20s and 30s around the region. Get ready for frost or freeze. Highs tomorrow, mostly in the 50s and 60s. You'll be closer to 70, though, in the upstate. Our temperatures will warm up a bit more before we cool down again. We'll go closer to 70 Friday. Here comes your rain, though, Saturday into Sunday. Saturday is dry.
From open houses to limited private showings and virtual tours, it's the new normal when it comes to finding your new home. In these times of social distancing, to stay relevant, the real estate industry is having to make some real adjustments. Mandy Gaither explains.
With social distancing guidelines and stay-at-home orders across most of the country, real estate agents have had to adjust to keep business going.
When I'm meeting with my clients, I'll bring disinfectant wipes, gloves as a courtesy to my clients, booties for their shoes.
One of the biggest adjustments Atlanta realtor and broker Terrence Wright says he's dealing with, the type of buyer he's meeting.
Because of the social distancing guidelines, now when I'm working with a buyer, it has to be a situation where they're already pre-approved, pre-qualified, so that, we are moving with purpose.
Virtual home tours and live video chat tours are also being pushed. If you're ready to move forward with a transaction but are worried you or a loved one might get sick, some groups are offering a solution. The Georgia Association of Realtors has come up with a COVID-19 special stipulation to put into contracts, but Wright says there are two most important things potential buyers need to be aware of right now.
The number one thing would be job security. Do you feel that your job is secure? Secondly, your individual personal finances.
And for potential sellers,
speak with a real estate professional. Be ready to entertain offers that you may not be willing to entertain 6 months or 12 months ago.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And Wright suggests that anyone who may be interested in buying or selling right now, find and speak with a real estate professional in that area to make sure that you have solid information and advice on whether now is the right time for you. Coming up, our Look Back series in sports doesn't go too far back tonight. We touch base with a recent Reynolds Rocket soccer star who made a name for himself across the state. That's coming up next in sports.
Centix. In lieu of big-time games being played now, we are looking at big-time players who made a name for themselves in mountain athletics. One of those stars in soccer, the young man who recently starred for Reynolds High School soccer, Isaiah Vignali, the leader of one of the best teams in Rockets' proud history. Senior season, scored 23 goals, 12 assists, led the Rockets to the 3A state title game. He was named the Gatorade North Carolina Boys Soccer Player of the Year, All-American, All-State, WMAC Co-Player of the Year, also a member of the inaugural squad for Asheville City Soccer Club in 2017. He became the highest recruited player in UNC Asheville history, and he finished his sophomore season with the Dogs as their second leading scorer with 3 goals. He's obviously put a lot of work into his game, and he says it wasn't always easy.
I played a lot of soccer outside of high school with my dad. I would always go and kick. He'd always force me to go out. Even if I didn't want to, sometimes I wanted to just, sit on the couch and be lazy for a day, but he always wanted me to go out. We'd always go kick. And eventually it kind of just clicked.
Now, some other area stars from yesteryear are cut above the rest in men's soccer. Austin Stamey, David Testo, Mike Hemphill, and George Redmond, all state players of the year for T.C. Robertson. Wilson Hood, a Rocket like McNally, was all-state 3 times. That's, of course, just some of the great names in WNC Prep Soccer. Can't name them all, but we appreciate your skills in a sport that mountain teams have really excelled in. Congrats. Asheville Christian's baseball program's got a changing of the guard. A familiar face takes over. Current coach Garrett Ruckel leaving at the end of the year. Today, the school announced that Chris Zaccaro is going to replace him. He's been an assistant with the varsity squad for 6 years, also works as an IT specialist with the school. And Asheville Municipal Golf Course is closed again after reopening a week ago. The Asheville Muni Course has announced they will again be closing all golf course operations effective today. They said in the statement that they due to the more city mandates that we feel are unreasonable and impossible to execute, we will be closing golf course operations effective today, Wednesday, until further notice. That's sports.
We're hoping we get back to normal soon, Stan. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Remember, you can always check us out at WLOS.com and find us on Facebook and Twitter. Jimmy Kimmel Live is coming up next.